Stocks gave up. Hi, I'm Kevin Castaneda, and today we're going to be going over what's going on with tech stocks. So tech stocks have been falling for the past couple of weeks and about the past month. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to the market, things like solar stocks, big tech, fintech, and all these different categories have been falling substantially, especially stocks with higher PEs and higher risk plays. Now that we look at the market, we see a lot of changes. We see the market going down quite substantially. We even see the S&P and the Nasdaq starting to go down, which is quite insane. And the Nasdaq actually entered correction territory, which is insane. A lot of stocks as well are in a recession, as recessions are usually seen as 30% below all-time highs. And if you look at a lot of small caps, and especially in all tech stocks, you see that a lot of them are down below all-time highs. And personally, I see this as a crazy opportunity. Now, a lot of people look at these companies and are like, oh, these valuations are quite high and such, but I don't believe that. When you look at their growth rates, they're expected to grow tremendously. Companies like Affirm, companies like Enphase, Nvidia, etc. These are all companies that are expected to grow at large rates. So personally, I'm not too worried about this, but a lot of value investors are. And if you've been in the market for a little while, there's a decent amount of people who, when the market goes kind of down the dump, a lot of people start shifting over towards investing towards value companies, things like Coca-Cola, things like McDonald's, Dunkin', like all these different companies. People start heading over to these companies because of the fact that they seem like safer plays. So when inflation's rampant and when the Fed is starting to raise interest rates, and when they're thinking about, and when they started tapering, and now they're talking about emptying out their balance sheet a little bit, the market starts to get a little worried. So now that we look at the market and we're like, all right, what are we gonna do? It's kind of a issue because we look at the market and we're like, okay, it is kind of strange. Like, we don't really know what we're gonna do. The market has just been falling, especially if you're in these stocks that I'm talking about, like tech stocks, fintech, software, high valuation, etc., which a lot of retail investors are. You see your stocks going down 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50%, even maybe 60, 70, 80, 90%, which is insane. You see your companies going down in value a ridiculous amount. And now that you're looking at these companies, you're like, wow, like my companies, the stocks that I chose are really down this much. And now maybe if you're in the higher echelon of that, like this 50% plus, maybe you want to take another look at your companies, make sure they're all good. But if you're in the lower percentages, I'm not speaking for every stock, but personally for the stocks that I'm in, I know their balance sheets are good. I know their growth rates are good. I know they're insanely great companies with great teams. And I'm looking at these companies and I'm like, I'm kind of astonished by how cheap these valuations are getting. So personally, I'm looking at the market, I'm saying, okay, I think the Fed's overreacting. I think the whole market is kind of getting ridiculous. And I think the fact that the big news like CNN, Fox News, etc., keeps bagging on these companies because of their higher valuations, I think that that's kind of the real opportunity when I start seeing the kind of the big media bag on these companies, and I'm seeing that the fundamentals are intact, the team's intact. It's the same fundamentals that I looked at when I started investing. If anything, the fundamentals have gone even better. So I'm looking at these companies and I'm thinking, okay, I think this is kind of ridiculous. I think that the market's overreacting, and I think I'm okay with staying in these companies long term, and I'm going to continue to build out these positions and invest in these companies. Meanwhile, the market shifts to safety and I get these companies on a discount. So I see great opportunity in this. I know we had kind of like a false rally for about 1 to 10%, depending on what companies you were in the market, especially in the tech companies. But I'm not too worried about this. I think we're gonna get a lot of false starts, and eventually we're gonna get the good enough news that'll set us off on a rally, and then we'll look back in a couple months or a couple of years and look back and be like, wow, I really missed out on this opportunity. So personally, all the companies that I love, all the companies that I'm invested in or am looking to invest in, they've all gotten way cheaper, and I'm really excited for it. And I think this is a great time for me to continue building out my positions. So that's all I have to say today. I think that this is a great opportunity and I'm not too worried about it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.